Yes, sir.
Media. We got the Facebook page as we welcome our Facebook Live viewers, listeners, and all that good stuff. Also, you can follow us on our Instagram page at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR5. So, welcome to all of our YouTube subscribers streaming this live as well. So, welcome to all the Twitch users, and we hope to get a following right there. Maestro Styles, man, it's been about a month, man. Some personal stuff
About that.
happened,
Yes, sir.
and now we back, man. I'm feeling really good.
Hey.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, we good, man. I'm good, cool, and working hard. 10-piece beat tape is out on all streaming platforms. Shameless plug if you want to, you know what I'm saying, rock with some beats. Here's some fire beats. I got that on deck. Working, man. Look, got a EP, EP I produced coming out Sunday. Working.
I gotta congratulate you, man, on becoming a business owner for the second time, man.
Yes, sir.
Definitely
Appreciate
definitely get a round of
Sanford
applause
Street
for that.
Music Group is definitely here now. Yes, sir.
No doubt,
Yes,
no
sir.
doubt,
So,
man.
no turning back from here.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Also, before we get started,
Go ahead.
I want to say happy birthday and rest in peace to Jay Dilla. Which was his birthday was on the 7th day of the Super Bowl. Also, rest in peace and happy birthday, posthumous birthday to Sandra Bland. We didn't forget.
No doubt.
Rest in peace, and
No doubt. Remember Sandra Bland. That's it.
yes, sir.
That's it. I think she would have been 35 years old,
35. Yep.
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yep. 35.
Yeah.
What's
So,
good with you though?
Man, I miss this show, man. I can't front, man. Been going through some personal things, and I'm happy to come out on the right end of it. But
Right.
man, so much has happened, and I don't want to, go back 3-4 weeks worth of material. I just want to get right into what just recently happened, and that is Super Bowl 55, which I'm going to tell you straight up, man. This Super Bowl sucked. From the game to the halftime show to the commercials, every single damn thing about this Super Bowl sucked. Except I wanna make this known. Todd Bowles, Byron Leftwich, and really I should have the names of these assistant coaches for Tampa Bay. But you also got two females on that coaching staff. A very beyond diverse coaching staff for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I want to give that group a shout out.
On that squad. Yeah, Antoine Randall L is on that.
Antoine Randall
staff.
L, yes.
Larry Foote is on that staff.
Larry Foote. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, it's a few. Yeah, but for certain, you left out two things, or I'll say three.
Okay.
One, Jasmine Sullivan, who did not need that white dude to sing the national anthem with her, but Jasmine Sullivan, who is on a run right now.
Yep.
Her, you got to give it up to her.
Her
tore it
Oh
up.
yeah. Her was yes. Yes.
Got to give it up to her.
ASAP.
And lastly, the play of the game, the motherfucking streaker. Or the fake streaker, because he ain't get butt ass naked, no homo. But the streaker, play of the game. Did you hear the rumor? Did you hear the rumor about this dude?
So I saw something. I'm not sure if this is what you're gonna tell me. So I saw this on Twitter, and a guy posted a picture with the streaker, and this apparently happened before they went to the game. So these guys made a bet that this guy was going to go out and, do what he did. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the bet was how many yards this guy was going to run. And I don't know how many yards he did run. But, dude, they basically had a bet that that this guy was going to go out there and streak at some point throughout the game. So I don't know if that's what you're going to tell me.
Yeah. That I didn't know that
Okay.
detail about how many yards and to how much money he allegedly won.
Uh-huh.
But if you wonder why he was dodging security staff with such vigor, uh, allegedly he walked it. He was obviously arrested when he got caught or whatever.
Yeah.
$1,000 for bail. He allegedly walked away with $374,000 for streaking.
Wow. Wow.
Allegedly, this is
Wow.
what according to Pat McAfee's show. I heard it
Okay.
right before we got on
Okay.
air. But allegedly, he walked away with $374,000 for streaking. He caught the $1,000 loss for having to bail himself out of jail.
Yep.
But walked away with $374K.
So when these streakers get caught, right? I've always been curious about this, and I know they end up getting free, after the fact. I wonder how long these security guards or security or whoever hold these guys after they get caught. Is it like the night, a day or two?
Well, he bailed himself out. So I mean, to answer your question, I don't know.
Okay.
But I know once bail was set, he bailed himself out.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So take what you will with that.
Hey, them earnings. It was those earnings.
But if you ever wondered, I mean, this dude, I think it was Mahomes second, and this guy, if you want to count for how many for being able to dodge defenders and people trying to tackle you, was Mahomes number 2 and this guy number 1, because both of these cats was running for their lives in this Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, and I got to tell you, Patrick Mahomes is a freak, man. The one where he falls off to the side and he's trying to get that throw off, man. That was a beauty of a throw. The way he was angled, man.
Let's just get straight to the shit.
They got their ass kicked.
Anybody.
They got their ass kicked.
They did. But this ass whooping was not, and I repeat, was not Patrick Mahomes' fault in any stretch of the imagination.
No.
The only thing I'll accept, which I won't accept in real life, is if you want to throw the whole, he's the quarterback, he's the leader of the team angle. If that's the angle you want, like, all right, but no, not really, because still no. This Bama was doing everything humanly possible to make something happen in this Super Bowl, but two starting guards short.
Yep.
I could have ran through that line and got pressure on Mahomes Sunday night. I could have got pressure on him.
Yeah, and that's what we knew going into the game, right? We knew that both starting tackles was not going to play in this game, and that they was going to have some guys that are not, that didn't get enough playing time playing in the Super Bowl. So we knew
trash, though.
that
these dudes were trash.
Yeah, they were.
These dudes were trash. This. I think this goes far beyond. These aren't the starters, and which is valid. They weren't starters, but they were trash. Like, they were trash. Like, I don't see how these guys are playing on this team next year. Trash. Like, that's how bad they were.
Yeah, they were terrible. But my thinking is that even though the offensive line was going to be compromised in this game, I look at Patrick Mahomes and I say, this dude's going to protect himself. This guy's going to do all the legwork. And yeah, he did that. He did all the legwork. It's just that guys was not catching balls. Balls was hitting them in the face mask. But I think in this case, man, a few things, but that Tampa defense, the cover 2 that they were playing, they basically said, look, we're not going to rush any more than 4 guys at you because we know what your offensive line is. We're going to test that offensive line. We're going to send 4, and we're just going to keep our safeties back. We're going to keep our corners back. We're not going to blitz, and we just going to dare you to just make these throws. You're just not going to methodically, beat us down the field. You're going to have to work to try to make these plays. And Todd Bowles did an exceptional job with coordinating this defense and putting these players in the right place. I mean, Devin White was just all over the place on Sunday. Shaq Barrett had himself a really good game.
I don't want to forgive me if I sound like I'm taking credit away from Todd Bowles, because that's not my intention. But when your front four can just walk through the line and get to Patrick Mahomes because of that guard play, it's just really, really difficult for me to, like overreact to Todd Bowles' defensive coaching performance, which was a good performance. I don't want to, but it's hard for me to overreact to it when everybody was just running through the line. Like, they were just running through the offensive line as if there was there wasn't an offensive line there. So it's like, it's easy to scheme. It's easy to, when there's no pressure for you to have to make any adjustments. You just literally ran through the line the entire game. Patrick Mahomes ran for a record 470, 500 yards, something crazy.
Before he threw off a pass, right?
Right, without gaining a damn yard. Like, it was just, it was craziness. It was craziness that quarterback, that half a billy quarterback, had to do all that because these guards were so bad. These guards were bad. Like historically bad. Historically bad.
Yeah, I can't agree with you any more than, with the guard play being so horrific. But I will say this in response to your take on Todd Bowles and the scheme, and it was just hard to not make any adjustments. And you're right. All he had to do was just be like, okay, I'm not gonna make any adjustments. I'm not gonna go away from what's been making us successful. I'm just gonna keep doing what we're doing. Most coordinators will get cute and be like, all right, we'll mix it up a little bit. Nah, he didn't mix it up. He just said, look, your line is bad. My line is good. This is what we're going to do. We're going to win a line of scrimmage and we're going to dominate. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, again, I'm in no way saying that Todd Bowles didn't do a good job. It's hard for me to overreact to it, though.
No, sure.
I am more impressed. I am more impressed right now with Byron Leftwich and his, in my opinion, ascension to head coach status through this year than I am Todd Bowles' performance. Right now, in my mind, and it might be a little hometown bias.
Right.
I don't think so, but
in this game, and always thinking, man, like this is a Brady thing. Like this, Brady gets these calls, man. But in that first half, man, it was just some questionable calls, man. And I could kind of go through each one. Two of them on Tyrann Mathieu. The one where he gets in Brady's face, Brady, I guess Brady was in his face first and then he got back at him and then they throw the flag on Tyrann Mathieu. Like, wait, hold on. Like, both these guys should be getting flagged, not just one person, and then he got flagged in the end zone on a ball that wasn't even catchable. I think he tried to throw it to Gronk, if I'm not mistaken, but that ball sailed way over his head. And Tyrann Mathieu was right there defending it, but they threw the flag, and it's like, yo, that ball was uncatchable. There's no reason for the flag there. The other penalty, where Mike Evans is down the sideline, and he gets tripped accidentally. There was no intent on the DB to trip him right there, but they tripped. Their feet got tangled, and they threw the flag. And it's like, yo, come on, y'all. I know the storyline is Brady's in the Super Bowl again with a different team. He's on the team where the home stadium, the first time a team is hosted a Super Bowl in their own home stadium. I know the storyline sounds good, cooking. But come on, y'all. Y'all giving this cat home cooking right now, man. Like stop it. Like it was just too much like questionable stuff, man, in that first half that just kind of took the Chiefs' defense out of rhythm.
Yeah, they were too involved, specifically in the first half. They were just too involved. Look, the Kansas City's DBs have been playing that aggressive pretty much all year. I haven't seen a Kansas City game where they haven't played that aggressive. So to start calling it in this game was a little sketchy to me. But like I said, like I tweeted it consistently throughout the game, Tom Brady effect. We know what this is. With all that being said, I didn't expect it to be this. I just flat out didn't expect it to be this. Tom Brady took advantage. Byron Leftwich took advantage. I mean, everybody on that team. Antonio Brown, congratulations, getting a Super Bowl, getting a Super Bowl ring, getting a touchdown in that Super Bowl. This was an ass whooping. This was an ass whooping. There is nothing else there's no other way to surmise this game. Devoid, including with the questionable calls and, some things that didn't go the Chiefs' way. This was just a flat out ass whipping. Everything that was involved in this loss had something to do with Tampa Bay in some shape, form, or fashion, whether it be them just being a better team or having the home cooking. Yep. They were just the better team on all phases Sunday. And, there's nothing really left to do, really, but tip your hat. I hate Tom Brady. That will never change. But he's the GOAT.
Man.
He's the GOAT.
Do we have to get into this conversation?
Look, I don't like him. I saw a tweet that said he wished he could have had all this home cooking and all this when Randy Moss was a Patriot or Chad Johnson was a Patriot. So we could have got them brothers some rings. But he the GOAT, man. It's really nothing else to say. To deter from having to give him too much props, I'll kind of change. I think it's clear now that in the lifelong question of was it Belichick or was it, and I'll be the first to tell you that I was on the side of at first, saying that it was more Bill Belichick than Tom Brady.
Yep.
And the whole Brady's a system quarterback. Hey, he might be a system quarterback. That might be true.
Yep.
But his ability to go to different systems and learn the system and master that system, it's Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady. Tom Brady is that's him. Him.
So there was a saying up in New England, the Patriot way, right? The Patriot way was Tom Brady. That's what it's looking like right about now. Now, I'll give Belichick a little bit of bail in the sense that, and I've mentioned this many times throughout the year, Patrick Chung, Dante Hightower, I think about 2 or 3 other key components to that Patriot team opted out because of COVID reasons. I would like to see those players come back, fully healthy roster. Who knows what the deal is with Cam, and, we could talk about that later, too. Who knows what the deal is at the quarterback spot for New England. I would like to see all that come back and then really kind of assess, okay, can Belichick coach a completely different team, fully healthy, has all his players? Can he coach a team to 10 wins? Can he get a team to the playoffs in the AFC? I'll just leave it at that.
That's fair. That's fair. But do you think with the ascension of the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, do you think that team could mess with them? Do you think the Patriots could mess with them now?
I don't think so.
Obviously, yeah.
I don't think so. But I think
you're talking about a wild card.
I'm talking about a wild card. Like you put a gun to my head right now, they would be a wild card. But I'll say this. Though when you get those defensive players back, let's see how they can, Belichick and those players, if they could scheme up a way where they can, slow Buffalo down. Let's see if maybe they could, split during the regular season and kind of see how that makes a difference in terms of who's going to win the AFC East or not.
And then for you to say they, maybe they could be a wild card. Then how do you feel about Miami at this point? Then,
yeah, Miami's a question mark too, and they're coming off of 10 wins, even though they missed the playoffs. Yeah. They had a really good season, right. And they have opportunities to get better. They got 3 first-round picks. I'm sorry, they got 3 picks in the first 2 rounds of the draft. So they do have opportunities to do that. They're also in the rumor mill for getting Deshaun Watson in a trade. I don't know how that's going to shape out, but there's people saying that Miami would be a spot for Deshaun Watson. So if that, let's, hypothetically, if that happens, now you're looking at the Patriots and you're saying, yo, we got to deal with Buffalo and we got to deal with Deshaun Watson in Miami.
Right.
That's going to be tough. That's going to be really tough to deal with.
All disclosure, I don't think Deshaun Watson is going to Miami.
Yeah, I don't either. I'll share that reason why in a few. I did want to get back to another kid that same age was involved also. But the girl in particular, her name is Ariel, is fighting for her life as we speak. Brain injury. I believe the report said that she suffered a brain injury and that she's in a condition where she's fighting for her life at this point. I had no idea that Andy Reid's son, Britt Reid, was on this coaching staff. And let's be clear about it. Britt Reid needs to get the smoke. Number one, you're drinking at the facility. Allegedly, you're drinking at the facility before you have to go to Tampa for the Super Bowl, an important game. In your career. Number two, you're getting in the car impaired and you're affecting other people's lives on the street, which resulted in what happened. The car accident happened. Number three, I find it hard to believe that 53 guys on a roster, and I'm not saying that all of them were distracted by this. I'm not saying that Patrick Mahomes, and I think he brought it up in the press conference saying that, hey, that's terrible what happened, with the accident and the little girl. But, we were focused on this game, trying to win this football game. I find it hard to believe that not one person out of that 53-man roster or even that coaching staff, particularly Andy Reid, that's his son. I find it hard to believe that that's not on your mind. And particularly in the case of Andy Reid, because that's his son, and what just happened in that situation, to coach through that game, I just don't see how that didn't creep into his mind at some point during that game. I'm not saying that they lost or that they got their ass beat because of that situation from a mental standpoint. I'm just making the point that for the coach, and particularly the coach, that's just tough. That's a tough situation. You find out, that happened days, a couple of days before you got to play an important game, before you have to coach an important game.
Sure, I don't disagree with that point. I don't know. I can't. Let me say this. I can't see that being big enough of a distraction. I can't see that being a big enough distraction come game time.
I agree with that.
Maybe in preparation, maybe you take some time and it bothers you for some time when you find out it happens, and you do all the necessary things to alert your team of what's going on and all that. But really after that, I think it's, for lack of a better term, and forgive me for sounding insensitive, water under the bridge. Let me say this for certain. Prayers up to everybody affected by that accident, particularly that little girl.
Yes.
And we hope and pray for the best for her. But in reference to the game, I just can't really see that holding too much water when it really got down to coach a football game. Like, I couldn't see Andy Reid's documentary talking about, that my mind really wasn't on that game because of what happened to that little girl. I can't see it. Not saying it's not possible. I just can't see it.
Right. No, I get that point. I get that point. I agree in a sense that for the players, to me, that incident really should have no effect from a mental standpoint, not even in terms of preparation. You on the field, it's an important game. You guys got to make the plays on the field. It's on y'all. with the coach though, that's one where it's like, I once this is over, now I got to go deal with this, and and let's remember
I think
too.
That's an escape.
You said you thinking it's an escape.
I think that game is an escape. Like, I think having to coach the Super Bowl is a great distraction from some real life shit that's going on. Because look, let's be clear: this sports and football, even though you're making a whole bunch of money and accolades and all that, that shit is a game. That could be taken away, particularly in Britt Reed's case. That's his name, Britt.
Yep.
Yeah, all that could possibly be taken away depending on how law enforcement, family involved want to look at it. So, I think at that point it's like, all right, let me get this distraction from what could be possibly, God forbid. I mean, I can't even say God forbid because, to be honest, whatever consequences come with this for Britt Reed, unfortunately, you got it coming to you.
Yeah. So, and I tell you what, man, too. I am. I don't know. I don't want to say. I don't want to.
Okay.
What's that?
And he'll be fine. Like, I'm sorry, but his father is Andy Reid. He'll be fine.
He'll be fine in terms of pushing forward.
Meaning, yeah.
Fine.
It's not like
yeah.
He'll be fine. So I can't act like I got a whole bunch of sympathy for how he might be handling it when he did something so irresponsible. I can't really feel much sympathy for how he might feel during the game and leading up to and afterwards. Unfortunately, bro, you wouldn't have had this distraction had you not made this irresponsible choice.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, and I was just going to make the point that Britt Reed should be fired.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree in the slightest.
Yeah, he should be fired for his actions. Like there has to be a message sent that you can't tolerate this kind of behavior, whether it's family or whether it's somebody you know closely, or even if it's just a staff member. It doesn't matter. You got to do what you got to do and let this kid go. I did want to make a couple other points because I'm not sure if this is the same son that had issues when Andy was coaching in Philly all those years. Because if you remember, he had two sons that were in some legal trouble at the time, and I think one of them died because of some kind of alcohol abuse or overdose of some kind.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember it.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if Britt was the other son, obviously that survived and, up to this point now, and, still having the same problems. I saw a tweet from Annie Apple, who's Eli Apple's mother. She's on Twitter, and she basically said that Andy Reid went from supporting his son to eventually enabling his son. And I was like, yo, that's like mad profound right there.
Well, I don't know how true or false that is. I won't, I don't know, so I won't speak on if he was enabling the son or not, but that's a strong statement to make. And, I mean, maybe she knows something I don't know, clear, but that's a strong fucking statement. That's a strong fucking statement to put on Twitter, especially if you don't have information. And again, I'm not saying she does or don't, but if she don't, that's a strong fucking statement.
It's strong as if she doesn't. I'll say this. I would say the connection that she has with the NFL is that she's an NFL mother of a player that plays in the NFL. And maybe those kinds of circles, maybe information like that does travel like that. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not.
But then you're talking about hearsay.
Of course
you're talking about hearsay. So I won't try to make her statement seem like it's false or true. I'll say that if she don't have, I'll leave it where I left it, because that's a strong fucking statement. If you should know that you're right if you're gonna put that kind of statement out on Twitter for people to read.
Yeah.
You you being the mother of a famous. I mean, you know, maybe not the most famous.
I was gonna say he ain't famous.
I mean, but he's an NFL player.
He's an NFL player, yes.
Yeah. And you know, if you know, we know who Eli Apple is.
Haven't heard his name in a while, but we know who he is.
In football circles, Eli Apple is known. We can both acknowledge that.
What team is he on, by the way? Is he on the Saints? I thought that was the last team I heard he was on.
The last team he was on. I don't know if he's. I'm pretty sure he's not with them now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know to answer your question. But
okay.
Yeah, don't. I hope she got. I hope that's real information and not something she heard in a you know, a circle of, you know, people talking.
Right.
That's what I'll say.
Right.
Last thing. The last thing I have in regards to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a problem with Antoine Winfield's penalty at the end of the game or close to the end of the game?
Not
no,
one
right?
bit. Not one bit.
Not one damn bit.
Not one bit.
I read some people who was like, "Oh, that's unsportsmanlike," and that shows some class. And no, ain't show no damn. That's
the game's won.
Class.
Yeah.
Well, more than that. Antoine Winfield was the recipient of that taunt in that last game.
Yeah,
So yeah,
right.
In the game that mattered,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm gonna give you that back. You gotta hold that.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. When it happened, it was just like, oh, come on, ref. Like, let the kids play. You know what I'm saying?
I respect Tyreek Hill for just accepting it. Like, yep.
Mm-hmm.
We got our asses whooped. Yep.
Yeah.
That's you.
Word.
You got that.
Yep.
You got that. We'll see you next time, but you got that. Like, Are you crazy? Like, I don't know, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like referees, y'all know better. Like, you gotta let that rock, man. Or let me say, I would like that. Like, y'all gotta start letting shit like that rock. Like when your boy stomped on the logo in Tennessee in the playoffs. Like,
yeah.
Come on, like,
yeah,
come on, man.
yeah, hell yeah,
hold that, man.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta hold that. Y'all acting like y'all not aware of what happened in prior games. Like, y'all gotta hold that.
Exactly, and I'm glad you said prior games, because I was just gonna bring up this point about Tyreek Hill, because he gashed them in the regular season game a few weeks ago. 264 yards receiving, I think. I mean, he was just torching these guys. I think he scored twice or something like that. Amazing that the Bucs were able to look at that film and figure out, okay, we're gonna play a different way than what we played in that regular season game, and basically
that ain't rocket science.
Rocket science. And basically just took him. I mean, yeah, he dropped a couple balls, but they basically just took him out of the game.
Yeah, but that wasn't rocket science. I mean, if we're looking at the projection of that, if we're looking at how the rest of that game finished, he had like 206 or maybe even 220 yards in the first quarter, and ended up with like 240 for the rest of the game. It wasn't rocket science. It was like, all right, we got to double team him. It wasn't rocket science. We got to double team him every play. Like, and yeah, I'd be damned if you're going to do anything remotely close to that in this Super Bowl. So we're going to double team you the entire game. I mean, it's not rocket science. That's just like if you that's just like, that's my job to see, what didn't work last time? Why did he gash us the last time? And let's be clear, they figured that out in the last game by halftime. So, you know, I won't overreact to that either, because it's like, yeah, you damn well better, because clearly nobody on this team can cover him, and this is the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, there were people saying that that the Bills could have possibly beat the Chiefs had they done this in the conference championship with Kelsey.
To play a similar type of defense, you mean, than Tampa did?
Meaning double team Kelsey and Hill, which was what they were doing. What they were doing the majority of the game. Double teaming both. Kelsey was finding a little way to get loose, because he can literally box people out in short, in small holes and do what he do. Yeah, like that's what they were saying should have happened in Buffalo, and had it happened in Buffalo, that Buffalo might have won that game. So I mean, that wasn't really rocket science. For me, the key to this is that the and really in most football games, the trenches.
Yep.
Tampa Bay defensively dominated the trenches, and Mahomes
with 4 guys.
Yeah, if you dominate that, then you can double team 2 receivers and still get a pass rush. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for real, where was Sammy Watkins at? Where was McCole Hardman at?
I was just going to bring up McCole Hardman, and I don't know if you took this away from when he was being targeted, but I thought McCole Hardman looked lost on the targets that he was getting. Like, there was one where it looked like he stopped and the ball just, kind of sailed over him, and it's like, yo, dude, you should have been still running to try to get that ball.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna if you wanna pass blame somewhere, those you get rid you eliminate Kelsey.
Mm-hmm.
Not eliminate because he had yards, but you neutralize Kelsey.
Some of those were garbage time yards, though.
Yeah, but you neutralize him and you eliminate Tyreek Hill, and you don't have an offense.
Yeah. Now, I think the opportunities that they had, like some of those balls that hit their hands, like those you got to catch, even though they're tough catches.
I think those things really just would have made the game more interesting. But I mean, this was an ass whooping.
Oh, of course, they would have lost. They would have lost.
Yeah, I don't even think. I think if some of them plays were made, it still wouldn't have been close. It just wouldn't have been 38-9, maybe 38-16.
Right.
So
I'm not gonna front though. When it was halftime and the deficit was 21-6, I think I was like, the Chiefs love these kinds of deficits.
Yeah, I was with you. Yeah,
and
wasn't nervous at all.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, this will be a game. Second half, they'll come out, they'll score a touchdown, they'll make this interesting, and then we're gonna have ourselves a game. Yeah. Nope. The fourth quarter, I was like, man, this is starting to feel insurmountable at this point.
This is when I saw Tampa Bay was like, all right, run the ball. Now I was like, oh yeah, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Tom Brady don't lose them games.
Yeah. Shout out to Leonard Fournette, scored a touchdown in the game. Yeah. And I think they mentioned something. And I think they mentioned something that Gronk, AB, and Fournette scored all the touchdowns for Tampa Bay. Those were the 3 guys that got to Tampa after Brady signed.
Yeah, and more than that, man, this is what Dan Snyder wanted to do back in 98, 99 when he brought in all them free agents. Right after they got FedEx Field and Landover, and he brought in Dion and Bruce Smith, and
Bruce Smith too.
Yeah, and then 99, yeah, dad. Bruce Smith, they brought in Bruce Smith that
Oh
year.
man.
This is the Yankees in the 90s, but even though it worked in the Yankees,
yes, sir.
Spend the money. Like LaShawn McCoy got a Super Bowl ring and had nothing to do with the game, and really
he got 2 Super Bowl rings and did nothing in either game.
Nothing. Right. I mean, shit. I mean, you gotta give props to the front office, like Tom Brady. This is the Tom Brady effect, much like the LeBron effect in the NBA. Like, hey, if I'm coming to your team, you better be ready to spend some money to put the roster I need to do what I do best. And this is this what they did. I was kind of hoping that he would retire. It don't seem like he's going to retire. But why would you retire when you can get this? You can get this kind of, like, he didn't get
shatter records.
His entire
continue to shatter records.
He didn't get this his entire career. You gave it to him for 1 year. Like, let me run the show. Let me get what I need to do what I do because I'm the best. And they gave him what he wanted, and here we are.
Man,
here we are.
I mean, it's legendary when you can go to a franchise with a losing culture because, let's be clear, Tampa Bay for about 13, 14 years was not making the playoffs. Yeah. And even though you saw what they were capable of doing last year with Jameis Winston, and I still believe Jameis Winston's a good quarterback. Obviously, the 30 interceptions, that contributed to them going 7-9. I mean, if he'd have threw like 15 or 12 interceptions, that record might be, 9-7, 10-6. So Tampa has the talent. They had the talent last year. It's just that it was still sort of a losing culture.
It's on steroids. It's on steroids, and Tom Brady bought. Like I said, like it's the same thing with LeBron in the NBA. Like he comes to your team, shit changes.
Yep,
it changes, and so here we are. He won't leave the game. Probably gonna play for another 2 years, and he'll be here. Let me say this. In defense of Mahomes, and this I promise this is really the last thing I got to say about the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes, to those who saying Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT, is not the GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. He's not. You're right. He's not. As long as Tom Brady is playing in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes got to hold this. He's the second best quarterback in the league. He's obviously more talented than Tom Brady, arm strength,
athleticism,
vigor, all those types of things.
Yep.
I think on this day, prisoner at the moment, Tom Brady is the best quarterback. I think right now, as we do quarterback rankings for 2021, I think it would almost be disrespectful to not put Tom Brady at number one right now, unless the roster drastically changes, which we know that won't be the case.
Right.
He's the best in the game right now. So, and I don't want to admit it, and probably by the time we do these rankings, I'll forget I ever said this, and it'll be Patrick Mahomes again. But I'm on tape right now. Tom Brady is the GOAT. Patrick Mahomes is number 2.
Mm-hmm. So I'll slightly disagree, just in a sense that Tom Brady's number 1. After watching the Super Bowl and after watching the Chiefs get their ass kicked, I'm not going to be fooled. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to, go away from that. Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. He's the best quarterback in the league to me, even after watching this Super Bowl. When you can have your first beatdown going back to high school up to this point now, and you've played all the games you played from high school to college, 3 years, playing in the league, already won a Super Bowl, and up to this point, and I get it, it was in the biggest of biggest games that he has to take this L. But moving forward, I'm not gonna sleep on that dude. That's the best best dude. That's the best guy in the league. And I'll take it a step further. I think Aaron Rodgers is right behind Patrick Mahomes in terms of quarterback rankings. And even though, he lost to Brady in the title game, I'm looking at Rodgers and I'm saying, yo, the arm strength's still there, the mobility's still there, the talent's still there. That dude is still he's right behind Mahomes for me still. Now I would put Brady number 3. Just to give him respect, I'll put Brady at number 3.
Yeah, bruh, but he won the head-to-head, bruh. I hear you, and I think you're basing it more on talent than accolades, and I'm basing it more on accolades. And
I think that's what we're doing.
Yeah, because clearly those two are more talented than Tom Brady. And if we're talking about talent, there are much more. I could put, right now, I'd put Lamar Jackson over Tom Brady. Like, I'd put other quarterbacks over Tom Brady.
Deshaun Watson.
There are plenty, I ain't gonna say plenty, that's disrespectful.
Right.
There is a number of quarterbacks that I would put over Tom Brady right now.
Russ,
but,
yeah,
when you're talking about accolades, in the moment, how to win a game at quarterback right now, This Bama missed 6 throws. This Bama had 3 touchdowns and only threw for I don't think this Bama threw for 250. I don't think he threw for 250 yesterday.
No,
I think
he threw for 220.
220 or something.
I think it was like 220.
Yeah. Like efficient, out the way, ran the offense. Came in and out of what he needed to come in and out of. Aware of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Not doing too much, doing just enough when it's time to do just enough. Like. Yep. And more importantly, and I get that that Patrick Mahomes was obviously against the defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but let's not play the bullshit game. This was a head-to-head Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes lost.
Yep.
Until that evens up in Super Bowls, right this second. And again, I'll acknowledge that I may be a prisoner of the moment, but right now. Head to head right now, I gotta get at the Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes, in my mind, is still getting ready to be the future of the NFL. Not getting ready to be. He is the future of the NFL, along with Deshaun and Lamar. That didn't change for me. Nothing changes about Patrick Mahomes' status.
Right.
But if I gotta rank quarterbacks right now, who's the best in the game right now? I gotta give it to Tom Brady because of the head to head.
Interesting. 2 of Mahomes' playoff losses are to who? Tom Brady.
Yeah, but for me specifically, it's the Super Bowl. For me, head to head in the Super Bowl, that's different from a championship game. That's different from a regular season game to me. The Super Bowl, Tom Brady can forever put on his 7th finger. I got you, Patrick Mahomes. This you right here on my finger.
Yeah. That's facts. That's facts. I got a point to make about Aaron Rodgers. I brought him up as, the second best quarterback in the league, I still think. After watching that title game a few weeks ago, I know I said I was going to go back a few weeks, but this was like solely on my mind when I was watching the Packers walk off the field during that game. I think I'm done as far as Aaron Rodgers getting to another Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that game was entirely his fault. Matt LaFleur has to answer for not leaving him on the field for 4th down. Like, that was 4th down territory. You don't take Aaron Rodgers off the field in crunch time. But yeah, man, I mean, how many chances are you going to have? You know what I'm saying? Like last year, you're in San Francisco and you got your ass kicked in San Francisco to go to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You get a home game the following season. And even we said last year, we thought Aaron Rodgers, that was his last chance. We thought that was his last shot to get us to a Super Bowl. And they come out this year, they get the number 1 seed. He's the league MVP. It's the NFC title game. He's home. I think this was his first home NFC championship game.
Yep.
And and again, it wasn't his fault, but entirely. And it's not entirely, because I think when the defense got those 3 interceptions, that should have been 21 points off of those turnovers, and it was only 7 points. Yeah. So you got to answer for that when you go 3 and out after your defense makes a play twice in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I think this is it. Aaron Rodgers is still going to be good, in my opinion, but I think as far as getting to the Super Bowl, I think this is a wrap. I think he's exhausted all the chances, man. And I want to add one more thing to this too, man, because we talk about how the NFC is a tougher conference than the AFC, and when you look at some of the top quarterbacks,
do we still say that?
Well, I think we've said that for a while with the NFC as far as it being a tougher conference, and it actually put it in. I'm starting to change my stance on that a little bit, because when I look at the NFC going into this past season, right, for me, when you look at the quarterback, Breeze, Rodgers, those guys got championships. Those are the 3 guys that should be dominating this conference the way Brady and Manning and even Roethlisberger at one point was dominating the AFC for all those years. The last five NFC champions have not been either one of those three quarterbacks. Think about that for a second. Those are the three best quarterbacks in that conference before Brady, got to Tampa. Those are the three best. And neither one of them has represented the NFC the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. Like that's just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. I don't think that the NFC is like I don't see it that way. I'll be honest, when I realized Patrick Mahomes was who he was, when I realized Lamar Jackson was who he was, when I realized Deshaun Watson was who he was, even to a lesser extent, well, I ain't gonna say Baker Mayfield. Because I had belief in what Baker Mayfield, but then he wasn't really showing up.
Right.
But now this year he's starting to kind of come on a little bit.
And you're forgetting Josh Allen too.
Josh Allen. That's 5 dudes. So let me eliminate Baker Mayfield, put Josh Allen there.
Yeah.
And then when you're even talking about Justin Herbert on the come up, like now number 6, maybe you could talk about Baker Mayfield.
Right.
Like, it's different. The defenses, we know what Cleveland defense do. We know Buffalo has a consistent defense for the most part. Like, I don't feel that I didn't. Maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. I don't really. The AFC is where it's at right now. Mm-hmm. The AFC is definitely where it's at right now.
Where the talent is, yes, I agree with you there.
I think competitively, it's tough. It's tough for teams. It's tougher for teams in the AFC than it is for teams. And I mean, bro, they got the NFC. Still got the NFC East, bro.
I mean, good point. And I was just gonna ask you. So you're of the opinion that the NFC is the easier conference.
The NFC, yes.
Okay. And I could see it from that context. I mean, think about it. Tom Brady said, yo, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to go over to the other conference where it's been a lot of different, NFC representatives in the Super Bowl the last few years. And I'm going to try to get this team to the Super Bowl. And yet he does it the first year.
And then when you talk about the grail, the holy grail of the NFC, most of these niggas is old. Most of these niggas is old.
Yeah. Getting there.
Russell Wilson is getting there. He ain't old yet, but he's getting there.
Yeah.
Tom Brady and Drew Brees are old. Aaron Rodgers is old.
Yeah, I was gonna say Aaron Rodgers is old.
Yeah. So I mean, it don't necessarily hit the same.
Right.
Hit the same. Now let me get my little. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
All right. Well, moving on.
Yep.
Let me get my rant point off.
All right.
I get that Aaron McDonald is a staple in the NFL defensive community.
Aaron McDonald. You said Aaron McDonald.
I'm sorry. Aaron Donald. I'm sorry. Aaron Donald is a staple in the defensive community of the NFL. A dog. Any given year, you can say that he is not only there in the NFL, you could possibly say in any given year that he is the best player in the NFL. I get everything that was all of those things for his argument. With that being said, TJ Watt should have been the defensive player of the year. I don't care about none of your, don't just look at the stats, look at the situations and all that other bullshit y'all talking about. TJ Watt should have won the damn defensive player of the year. Period.
So
end of rant.
So as a Ravens fan, I hate to agree with you, but the facts are the facts. There's about, 12, 13 different defensive statistics, right? TJ Watt has beaten Aaron Donald in about 12 of those statistics. So, yes, TJ Watt should have won that award. Aaron Donald.
And since when, and for the motherfuckers that's talking about, stats, don't look at just stats. Since when we don't look at stats? Now all of a sudden you want to make an argument for Aaron Donald, and we don't look at stats no more.
Right.
Like, look.
Right.
The only one. I tweeted about it that I'm a little conflicted about him winning it. One, because T.J. Watt should have won it, but I want to root for my brother. But nah, bro, the white boy should have got it. I'm sorry, dog. I can't. This is not the situation. This is not one of the situations where I can be like, the famous Chris Rock joke is, him being a fan of affirmative action. So if a white person scores the same and a black person scores the same, affirmative action, push the black guy over. Like, this is not like I wish this could be that situation for me. This is not that situation for me. T.J. Watt should have won Defensive Player of the Year. Period.
So, 2 reasons why I think Aaron Donald won this award. Number 1, I think it was just more of a popularity contest because he's Aaron Donald. And number 2, I think it's because he was on the number 1 defense. And not that Pittsburgh's defense wasn't far behind in terms of rankings, but that Rams defense, number 1 in the league. And when you watch them on the field, I know you don't want to hear that, but when you watch them on the field, I
don't. It's an individual award.
They were doing it right. It's an individual award. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I think that's why he won this award. Bullshit. And again, as a Ravens fan, I hate to disagree or to agree with you, but I have to in this instance. T.J. Watt should have been the Defensive Player of the Year, but I think Aaron Donald won it off of name recognition, popularity, and the fact that the defense he was on was number 1.
I think he won on name recognition.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they thought T.J. Watt was going to be this good this year. Aaron Donald is you have to. I think they wanted more stats from T.J. Watt. Like it was affirmative action essentially. They right here statistically in most categories.
Right.
Push the black guy over the top. And in that sense I can't argue, but man, TJ Watt should have won that. And while we on NFL honors, I'm sorry, bro, and I know it's not a something that you do on normal circumstances. Quarterbacks normally win MVP. That's just what it is.
Yep.
Derrick Henry should have won fucking MVP. I don't care. I get it. 48 touchdowns, all that. Denying it.
Don't forget Derrick the 5 Henry. Interceptions though. Don't leave out the 5 interceptions. That ratio. That's a crazy ratio.
Great fucking ratio. My man ran for 2,000 though.
Yeah. Nah, I get it. I totally get it. I guess he was number 2 in that in that MVP ranking.
And they gave him the pat on the back.
Was it Offensive Player of the Year?
Yeah. They gave him the pat on the back joint, like they did. T.J. Watt gave him the Deacon Jones Award, which with respect to Deacon Jones, nah, that's the second place trophy. Nah.
Who won MVP? Which running back won MVP off of 2,000 yards? It was Adrian Peterson, right?
Adrian Peterson. No other running back won MVP off of 2,000. Not to my knowledge. I know Adrian Peterson though.
Okay. Because I know Jamal Lewis didn't.
No.
They gave it to that year. It was co-MVPs. McNair and Peyton. That year. Yeah. Chris Johnson definitely didn't win the MVP that year. He did it. So okay.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man. Derrick Henry should have got that. I don't know if y'all don't like his dreads. He should have got that, bro. He should have got that. He should have got that.
Yeah. What do you think about so the Hall of Fame? Let's give a round of applause for the Hall of people that's going to the Hall of Fame.
Before you do the Hall of Fame, I just want to do this real quick because I don't want to forget.
Yep.
And because I meant to do this while we were segueing before we segue into Hall of Famers. Rest in peace to Leon Spinks. Rest in peace to Marty Schottenheimer. I just wanted to make sure we acknowledge him, and I didn't know if you was going to get to it, but
I was going to get to it at the end of the show because I got a bunch of names, bro. I mean, it's been a crazy month, right? It's been a crazy month. We just been losing sports legends, entertainers, people in journalism. Like it's just been a crazy month since we've been, not doing a podcast up until this point. So yeah, I was gonna get to that.
All right, well, I'll let you do that at the end of the show.
Yeah. So what I was going to ask you in regards to the Hall of Fame participants for this year, shout out to all of them. Much deserved. I think all of them.
Is this the list? Let me make sure. And tell me if I don't have everybody. Peyton Manning.
Yep.
Charles Woodson, Calvin Johnson, John Lynch, and Alan Faneca. Am I missing somebody?
Yeah. Tom Flores finally got into the Hall of Fame because that's one guy, one coach that people have been begging the NFL to put in the Hall of Fame for a long time, and he finally got in. And there's two other names that are
okay, well, forgive me for the names.
Two other names aren't coming to me. Drew Pearson with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Drew Pearson with the Cowboys. Yeah. Yeah, that's another guy that people have been hammering the NFL for.
Overdue for Drew Pearson.
Long overdue for him.
I could have got him before Steve Largent, my personal opinion, but
right. So, I have no problems with these guys. All of these guys are worthy of the gold jacket.
Yeah.
I think the one that sticks out to me is Calvin Johnson. Now, Calvin Johnson's played, I think, 9-10 years in the league, all with the Lions.
Yeah.
Very electrifying receiver. Hard to double team the guy because even if you do, he's going to catch anything that throws his way, whether you put 2 or 3 guys on him. He was considered the best receiver in the game for a stretch during his time in the NFL.
Yeah.
Does longevity in the league matter in terms of, getting in on the first? And I'm just talking about getting in on the first ballot, not being a Hall of Famer.
Nope. Because keep it a buck. If Patrick Mahomes retired tomorrow, he'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Okay.
Now I get that he has a Super Bowl ring. I do understand that's.
But I thought that's why you said that, because he's got the Super Bowl.
No, I mean I think if he had all the accolades he had,
right,
and the only thing he was missing was a Super Bowl ring, I think he'd still be Hall of Famer. I think he'd still be a Hall of Famer.
So
he came in his first year,
right? 50 touchdowns.
His first year, not.
50 touchdowns. I get it. One of 3 guys to do it. I get it.
Yeah. I think he's a Hall. I think he would. I think they would have put him in the Hall of Fame. He has a Hall of Fame resume right now.
Okay. Here's one name I'm gonna bring up that folks are gonna get upset at. Do you think Andrew Luck is a Hall of Famer?
No.
Okay. I don't think he is either. I don't think he is either. I just wanted to throw that out there.
First bat for certain at a first ballot. You might could argue me down that he'll eventually one day make the Hall of Fame. Maybe I'm not feeling that right this second. But if somebody really argued me down with stats, and because I haven't really looked it up.
Right.
But if somebody argued, you could convince me. But no,
I wouldn't put him in at all. But I brought his name up because you brought up Mahomes in the short career he's had. Even like, let's say the hypothetical, even if he didn't get the Super Bowl ring, but still had the accolades, the stats in those 3 years. So that's why I brought Luck up. But as far as Calvin Johnson's concerned, the longevity thing for me, had he not got in on the first ballot, I wouldn't have had a problem with it.
No.
I and let me be clear again.
I'm lying. I might have had a little problem with it.
You might have had a problem with it?
I might have had a little problem with it.
Okay.
I might have had a little problem.
Yeah, I don't. Because I think the people that have an issue with him getting in on the first ballot will bring up T.O.'s name. And we know what the situation with T.O. is. We know the Hall of Fame voters, that was just them trying to get, clap back at T.O. Let's just call it what it is.
I don't even know if it's clap back. I think they just didn't like him.
They just, yeah. I think
he didn't do nothing to them.
Right. I think you're right in that assessment. They just didn't like him because of the things he did. But I think people will bring that comparison in and say, well, wait a minute, Calvin Johnson played, 9-10 years. Granted, he was, the best receiver in the league for, almost half of the time he was in there. Mm-hmm. You could argue more than half. But yet a short career gets in on the first ballot. And yet you got T.O. who's played longer, almost double the time Calvin Johnson was in there. Touchdowns, receiving yards. I think he's top 3 in those categories. And yet this dude had to wait 2-3 years to get in.
Yeah, but I think I mean, you hit it on the head. They don't like T.O., but T.O. was a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, his career says, I'm a first ballot Hall of Famer. And whether you want to base it on longevity and production and all that, for all intents and purposes, if you could compare T.O.'s career to Calvin Johnson's career, T.O. was the better receiver.
Right.
I think Calvin Johnson is a more talented receiver. He's taller, he jump ball, like those types of things. But career-wise, T.O. had a better career than Calvin Johnson. For that reason, he's like, it's him statistically is Jerry Rice, and then it's him, I think, or
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss, yeah. So there's no. I mean, when you say who's the best receiver in history, you say Jerry Rice, you say Randy Moss, you say Terrell Owens.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to that. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So we know what that is. But in that same respect, you could argue of all time, after you mention those 3 names, who's better than Calvin Johnson?
No, good point. I do believe that when Fitzgerald hangs it up, he's going to get in on the first ballot.
Of course.
Yeah.
But as good as Larry Fitzgerald is, it's never, the thought has never crossed my mind that he's better than Calvin Johnson.
Right. Yeah, I guess it's tricky with unless you're not those top 3 or top 5 receivers, like, of all time in terms of yards and stuff, it's tricky when it comes to the wide receiver position because, for a long time, there were guys that were worthy of the gold jacket that had to wait. You know what I mean? Like, Tim Brown had to wait. Andre Reed had to wait. A few others. Here's one name to keep in mind for next year, a guy that's up. Steve Smith. That guy's going to be up. I believe he's Hall of Fame worthy.
First ballot.
And you think he's first ballot?
He should be.
Okay.
I would love to see what the rest of the list look like, so I could kind of,
Right.
But if you say Steve Smith, I say first ballot.
Okay. No, I don't have an argument with that. I'll just say this: I wouldn't be surprised if they made Steve Smith wait. I'd be happy if he gets in on the first ballot. I'd be happy if he does, but nothing would surprise me if he didn't get it on the first ballot. If he had to wait maybe the following year, to get in on the second ballot. I'll leave it at that.
Sure. In real life, though, who's better? Who's better than Calvin Johnson besides those 3 players?
Yeah,
that's tough, right?
It's tough. It's tough.
He's probably number 4.
Yeah, even with the short career, yeah. I wonder what's his totals receiving yards. I don't have time to look this up, but I'm just kind of curious about that. I'll look that up when I'm done here. Yeah. But I gotta get your opinion on this too, man. So we had a swap of quarterbacks take place in the last couple of weeks. Wanted to get your opinion about Matthew Stafford going to the Rams in exchange for Jared Goff and some first-round picks, if I'm not mistaken, along with either a second or a third, I can't remember what, to go back to Detroit. Just curious what you thought of when that happened.
They better go to the Super Bowl.
The Rams, right?
They better go to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I've never been high on Jared Goff. Sean McVay is an offensive genius. Defense is A1.
Yep.
They should be able to beat the Packers.
Right. Or whoever in the NFC. Yeah.
Yeah, they should be able. It's in my mind, it's Super Bowl or bust. They paid the price to get a franchise quarterback. Well, I mean, I don't know if you call him a franchise quarterback this late in his career, but you got to
get a better quarterback. Let's put it that way.
You got
a better quarterback.
That could be.
Yeah,
they got a quarterback that could have been. That could have been like if he not be on a shit team, he could have been one of the better quarterbacks in the league.
Right. Because the talent is there.
Like,
we know that.
5. He could have been top 5. He could have been top. I mean, some say I don't watch that much. Some say he could have been like top 3 in his run. You know, in his prime, he could have been a top 3 quarterback. He was just on a bad team.
Yeah. Matthew Stafford's a better quarterback than Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford also is cheaper. I think this is the important part here. He's also cheaper than Jared Goff. They gave Jared Goff that contract extension, and the numbers he put up, 20 touchdowns, I think 13 or 15 interceptions last year. And obviously the defense and the running game was the focal point of the Rams last year. You're not going to pay that much money for 20 touchdowns when other guys are throwing 30 touchdowns, 40 touchdowns in a season. You're not going to do that.
I ain't going to hold you. 20 touchdowns not even acceptable in today's NFL for a starting quarterback.
Yeah. Well, and I guess
unacceptable.
In the case of the Rams, they got to the playoffs, and I'm not saying it's because of Jared Goff. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do, I guess you could say. This team.
How many games was he injured?
Just one.
Okay, yeah. So 20 touchdowns is not acceptable.
So just one
is the 25 and up is the standard for a quarterback in the NFL. 25 and up is the standard. 20 touchdowns is not acceptable.
Yeah. So McVay did what he had to do. Get rid of him. Get yourself a better quarterback. And and you're right. It is Super Bowl or bust. I don't want to make this comparison, but I think this is probably the closest thing to what the Rams are trying to do and what the outcome of the trade hopefully, turns out to be a championship. When the Raptors got rid of DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard, and that turned into a championship. I'm not comparing the players. I'm not comparing Leonard to Matthew Stafford, but I think the Rams look at this and say, we got to get better at this position. Let's make the move.
Hell, the Rams probably just saw what the Bucks did.
What Tampa Bay did, right. Yeah. Or another good example, get Alex Smith up out of Kansas City and put Patrick Mahomes in, and guess what? You got a 50 touchdown season from the kid, and you got a Super Bowl out of that. So again, not comparing the players, comparing more so the situations. If you will.
But even more so, like getting the, I think getting the younger guy, the upside guy out of there, for the proven guy. I think the Tampa Bay. I think they watched what Tampa Bay just did this season. I mean, obviously they made the deal before the Super Bowl win, but I think they saw what happened with this team. They took that loss to Kansas City, Tampa Bay, and didn't lose a game for the rest of the season, leading into the Super Bowl win. Yeah. I think the Rams, so we have the team around us.
Yep.
Our failure was at quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we got to fix that.
We got to fix it.
We ain't got time to groom. We don't got time to groom or raise nobody up. We need somebody that know what they doing. Matthew Stafford knows what he's doing.
And I think there's gonna be some other teams, with the same sort of concept, because all I'm hearing is teams are trying to look for, new quarterbacks, quarterbacks that, are rumored to be, on the move. I'm hearing, the Carson Wentz stuff, that looks like that's going to be something serious. Like the Eagles look like they're done with Carson Wentz, or Carson Wentz is done playing in Philly. Like that appears to be real. I'm hearing stuff about Vegas, trying to, trade Mariota or even Derek Carr, for that matter. I'm hearing that as a rumor. I just heard today that there's a situation where the Colts might try to get Matt Ryan from Atlanta. I don't know how, true that is, but that was something I heard earlier. Russell Wilson was just talking earlier today about, getting involved in the process of building teams and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden people are like, oh, Russell Wilson might be on the move, and, Sierra might want to go to the A. She might want to go to LA. She might want to go, someplace other than Seattle. You hear those kinds of things. And I'm just sitting here wondering, and I don't want to forget Deshaun Watson, because that thing is still out there, with him not wanting to be in Houston. I'm just curious, like, why all of a sudden this flux of teams wanting to swap quarterbacks. I mean, we already saw one swap already. Now it looks like we might see several more.
I won't put too much stock in that. But you mentioned Russell Wilson, and I hope they really do involve him in acquiring talent, because he needs help.
Mm-hmm.
That's that.
You need a line.
That's all I got. He need a line desperately. And that's all I would say about that.
Yeah. Been sacked a lot too much during his career.
That's all I got to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
In the words of the great Bubba Gump.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I tie it to a couple of things. So when we were just discussing the Rams and Lions trade, we were discussing partially the money part of it, and Jared Goff's contract. I'm wondering if teams are kind of looking at, okay, we overpaid for a quarterback and we're not as successful as a team. We're not able to, pay players when they hit their prime. We're not able to draft well when we need to. I'm wondering if, there's other teams looking at that and saying, yo, we need a cheaper quarterback. We need to build the team. We need to get defensive players. We need to get weapons on the outside. We need players on the offensive line. This guy costs too much. Let's just, get somebody cheaper.
Well, I don't know if the guys they're trading for come in with their contracts.
Yeah, no, good point.
So I mean, I think it's more. I think it's more that. See, the thing is that when you pay a franchise player, you're expected to make up for the voids that they can't fill. So i.e. Patrick Mahomes, you pay him $500 million. If they're lacking at linebacker play,
right?
You're offsets the lack of linebacker play. So the defense might give up more points, but that's okay because you're going to score 35.
Right.
So what I'm saying, that type of thing. Carson Wentz was paid like a franchise quarterback, so the Eagles were expecting him to score points, and the Eagles didn't score a whole bunch of points.
He sucked last year.
He sucked for 2 years. So here we are with this big contract, and we can't do nothing to really bring you a whole bunch of weapons. And it's not like they're devoid of weapons. They got some weapons. I mean, they got a solid 2 tight ends, even though Ertz is probably gonna be gone next year.
Right.
They got a solid 2. Deshaun Jackson is solid. Alshon Jeffrey, I know he's been injured, but on the field he's solid. Miles Sanders is a good running back. Defense is okay. So it's like, in their mind, I could see why they felt like, all right, we should be all right going into the year. except for the quarterback is trash, and he played trash last year.
Yeah, and I want to be clear about something. I want Jalen Hurts to start for the Eagles next year.
And then that's the other piece. Like, it's like, all right, yeah, you damn right you're gone. You're gone.
Yep. What made it so confusing? Because after they fired Doug Peterson, everybody was like, "Oh, okay, Carson Wentz is the guy. He's going to be there." But I'm like, wait a minute. Doug Peterson didn't want to bench Carson Wentz until week 14 of the season, when niggas was calling for Carson Wentz to get benched like week 7 of the season, week 7, week 8. So why all of a sudden, everybody want Carson Wentz now because Doug Peterson's gone? Like that didn't make any sense to me. And so now that he doesn't want out, it makes a lot more sense now. Like he, and I'm gonna be clear, Howie Roseman, I think that GM, I think he's got to go, bruh. Like he,
well, I think much like Jeff Fisher and Jared Goff, when we all said the problem wasn't Jared Goff, it was Jeff Fisher.
Yep.
Once Jeff Fisher left, the Rams became a better team. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just that. I think Carson Wentz is a talented quarterback. Let's not sit here and pretend like he's not a talented quarterback. Whatever is going on in Philly as to why he's not as successful as he should be, maybe he holds on to the ball too long.
Yeah.
Maybe he needs a different philosophy as far as how he approaches quarterback. Whatever it is, we know he has the talent to throw the football and be efficient throwing the football. He might just need a scenery change. But the problem is that Philly paid him to be the guy, and for whatever reason, they didn't accommodate him to be the guy. They didn't facilitate him to be the guy.
Right.
So now they got to get rid of him, and he'll get a job. He's young enough to get another job. He'll be, but he should be gone. He should be gone from Philly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He'll be to my summation. He'll be gone.
Mm-hmm. So,
and I'm not mad at him going to Indianapolis, by the way.
Yeah.
Outside of what happens to Jacoby Brissett, because I still want him to start, especially if Phillip Rivers is going to retire. I mean, I would like Jacoby Brissett to start, but you're not going to turn down Carson Wentz for Jacoby Brissett. Right.
Now, just a note for you, Jacoby Brissett is a free agent. He already gone through those 2 years, that 2 year, $30 million deal. So.
Yeah, but what that means in my mind is that they're going to send him to a bum team. That's what that means in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think they're going to put him somewhere with some weapons around him and give him the ability to really compete.
Oh, of course, because they don't want to be proven wrong. Like if Jacoby Brissett does actually do something with somebody. Yeah. Makes sense. Man, if you got nothing else, man, I kind of want to, get into this list of people, man. Yeah. It's been a rough month since we, last did the podcast, and I just want to names, and I want, everybody that's listening and watching, to keep these people's families in mind. We lost some legends in sports, entertainment, black journalism. The list is just crazy, man. So, John Chaney, college basketball coach for Temple for all those years. Hank Aaron, Hammering Hank Aaron. We know what a pioneer he was.
Yes,
coming up, during a time where we wasn't liked, as a people.
Well,
go ahead.
Let me let you go. No, I was just going to say we still not liked, but I didn't
want to step on your moment. You're right. You're right. Yeah. we're still not liked. No question. No question about that. No question about that. The great Cicely Tyson, rest in peace.
Yeah, for sure.
Legend in the acting game. Sekou Smith. Worked for NBA TV for, a few years, was a journalist covering the NBA for 20 years. His complications was from COVID. I did read up upon that, that he had some complications from that and eventually passed away. So, Shout out to his family. You mentioned Leon Spinks, fighters. One of the great boxers, I should say, to ever just found out today about Mary Wilson, co-founder of the Supremes. Keep her family in prayer. You mentioned Marty Schottenheimer, former coach of the Chiefs, Redskins, Browns, and the Chargers. I guess one of the best, winningest coaches in terms of win percentage. I
know he died at 200. I know he had 200 wins.
200 wins.
I don't know where that ranks, but
right.
I don't know where it ranks, but I know he had 200 wins.
Right. And just one point about Marty. Shame on the Washington Post. I saw earlier that their headline was, Marty Schottenheimer, who, and I'm paraphrasing, but the headline said Marty Schottenheimer, who had playoff failures for all those years, died at 77. Like that was just classless on the part of the Washington Post right there. Yeah. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Pedro Gomez was a baseball writer for so many years. He passed away the other day. Butch Reed, a.k.a. The Natural, former WWE wrestler, black wrestler, passed away, I think a week and a half ago. And then finally, right before, we started doing this podcast tonight, I found out about a guy named Therese Paler, who's a black journalist, currently had worked for Yahoo Sports for a few years. Today there was a lot of posts about it on Twitter today. I know Jamel Hill had some words to say about whether people in the journalism field had some kind words for him. So that's 10 names. That's 10 names right there, and all within a month span. So gone, no longer with us.
Yeah, rest assured.
Yeah, no doubt. Just want to give a special shout out to all of our fans and all of our listeners, our viewers, and again, we're glad to be back, and we gonna keep giving y'all this content every Tuesday. Make sure y'all check out this episode on our podcast platforms. We're on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. Also, don't forget to check us out on our Facebook page, where we do our Facebook live feeds and all that good stuff. Also, check us out on our Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. Also, you could check us out on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Also, subscribe to our YouTube page. We're also live there for the first time tonight also. And you can subscribe to our new page on Twitch, which we're live there tonight also for the first time as well. So we appreciate all the fans. We appreciate the support over the years. And, we're just going to keep this thing rolling, man. Any words? Any final words, bruh?
Love. 10-piece. B-tape.
Promote
Maestro
that.
Styles, 10-piece. Go stream.
Promote the business, man.
Yes, sir.
No doubt,
but love above all else, man.
Yeah,
y'all
no
be
doubt.
Safe. We see y'all next week.
Yes, no doubt. We'll see y'all next week.
My eyes, if y'all see my eyes low, it's not drugs. I promise you. Know what I mean?